right, last few items, because we can hear rumblings in the distance now, and we know we've got to go. Grab what you can. But the truck has arrived earlier than we expected. They're going to drive us down to the coast, where we hope to find a boat. We're going to board a truck now, and there's nothing more that can be added into your backpack. But take a look back at your home. So visualize your front door, your home, your driveway. Everything that is not in your backpack now is being left behind. So that's the home itself, your garden, your furniture, any remembrances of the life that you've lived there, you're now leaving behind. If it's not in your backpack, it stays. And for many refugees, that's the thought, that it is gone forever. And we get into the truck, but the truck is driving rough. The driver doesn't seem to be too careful, and we're coming around a curve a little fast, and as we do, you can see we're not well secured in this truck. They've just packed us in. We all kind of swing to the right, and as we do, the very last item that you put into your backpack falls out of the truck and onto the road. We yell for the driver, slow down, stop, we've got to go back for my stuff. He's not having it. He is also worried about the fact that he can hear bombs coming. The violence is headed our way. He doesn't want to stop to pick up items and belongings in the distance. So whatever the last thing that you put on your list was, scratch it off. You have now lost that on the road behind you. And we get going, and we're getting closer to the city now, but we're still miles off. And we notice there's kind of a grinding sound coming from this truck. It's not a great sound. And we're wondering if this truck is maybe less reliable than we hoped. And we realize we're not probably going to get there, because soon the truck comes to a halt. It just rolls to a halt. The grinding is bad. The driver jumps out. He keeps trying to start the car, but it's not happening. And he opens the front hood, and there are some other guys that jump out of the back of the truck, and they're all looking inside the hood. We don't have the tools to fix this. We don't have the spare parts, and we're going to have to walk the rest of the way to the city, and we are miles out. The truck cannot be fixed, and we are not offered a refund for what we have already paid to ride this truck down to the coast. As we're walking, we realize that our backpacks are heavy. We've jammed a lot of stuff in there. So look at your list and scratch off the heaviest single item on your list, because you can't carry all of that, all of these miles. You've got to go. You've got to lighten the load. It's just too much. And as we walk on, we realize it's miles, it's getting late in the day, and we are very, very tired. We get to the harbor, and there is a harbor master. And he is in charge of all of the docks that come into this harbor. So our boat is kind of down on the pier, but he decides who gets to enter this harbor, and he wants a bribe. So look at your list and scratch off, what are you going to bribe this harbor master with in order to get down to the dock? Because he knows he is stopping you on the way, and somewhere you've got to get going, and he's going to take that bribe. Scratch off your bribe. So he has accepted our bribe, and now the boat is ready, but it is very crowded because the captain of the boat has packed in as many people as he possibly can, because he's in it for the money. And so he doesn't care if everybody has very little space. What's important to him is that he's getting as much money as possible for this run of people. And he says, we have too much stuff. Our backpacks, all the humans, it's just too much. And so he said, if you don't want people to start getting off this boat, you're going to have to check off one more item from your backpack to make space. Otherwise, people are going to be left behind, and we don't want that to happen. So we reduce the weight and the space. We throw off one more item. It's going to stay on the coast forever. It's gone. And now we are off. We set sail. We're way too heavy for this boat, obviously, but we're going to safety, we hope. We've got to cross this body of water. This body of water could be the North Sea, it could be the Mediterranean, it could be the Pacific. My friends from Vietnam crossed a piece of the Pacific Ocean. And as you're going along, the waves are going to kick up because this is the open sea one way or another. And the waves swamp the boat, and anything that you have in your backpack that could be damaged by salt water, think photographs, your Bible, your books, anything like that, are now destroyed. So scratch them off your list. If you have money or a passport, those are actually waterproof. If you've ever put dollar bills through the wash, like I have, you know. But any technology that you have, ruined. Toss it, scratch it off your list. We are now through the storm, but everyone is cold and wet and hungry. Children are crying. People are unwell. We kind of are forgetting how many sunrises and sunsets we have been on this little boat. But suddenly, in the distance, we spot a ship, a bigger ship. We're waving our hands. We're trying to get attention of this ship. Stop, come and get us. They're going to provide us with some safety and some refuge and maybe some more water because we're running low on water. And as we're waving our hands and the boat turns and comes towards us, we realize that that is not a friendly boat. These are pirates. And pirates, modern-day pirates, wait around in channels and waterways where they know that refugees are going to be passing because they know we're desperate and they know that we're traveling with valuables because you would if you were a refugee. And so they board our boat and they demand anything of value that we have in our backpacks. So look at your backpack and see what we can bribe the pirates with, because they are threatening us, they're threatening our children, our family that is with us, and we've got to get them pacified and on their way. So scratching that off the list now, the pirates have accepted our bribe and they have left. But we feel so dehumanized, so violated by this piracy. We didn't have that much left on our list to begin with in our backpacks, but now we've lost our dignity as well. And suddenly our thoughts are interrupted by the cry of a child on the foredeck that says that she sees land. But my old eyes, I'm not sure I see land, and at this point I'm too tired and frustrated to even think about it. But soon enough, yes, we do see land in the distance. And it is such a relief, and we are able to deboard. And as we deboard our little boat and set aside our life preservers or whatever we have, we are in a safe country now. And perhaps our lives will be better now that we've made it to safety. There is no war in this place that we have come ashore. But remember, we have no income. We have no roof over our heads for tonight. We don't speak the language in this new country. We have to start a new life here with whatever is left in our bags. So let me ask you, what do you have left to start your new life with? Anyone, just raise your hand. Medicine. You have your medicine? Yeah. Yes, that's an important thing to pack. You as well? Medications? Yes. What about, did anyone pack glasses? Yes, that's huge.
Some kind of personal ID.
ID. Who has ID of any kind left? So you are the fortunate ones, because if you have no identifying documents, you are now stateless. And it will be very, very hard, because you can't go back to your homeland, right? Because they're in uproar and civil war, and they may not vouch for you on any international kind of level. Or maybe the war has just taken out the building that had the records. And a lot of people will end up in refugee camps for the rest of their lives if they can't prove who they are. That's hard. What else? What do people have left in their bags? Toothbrush. Yes, the essentials. Not too heavy and not too valuable. So you had what?
Some protein bars.
Protein bars. Yeah, food. Food and water. Okay, but we've been at sea for a few days, so That might be gone too, right? Yeah. Your water bottle, yeah. Water is desperate if you're on the ocean or even the Mediterranean, right? You can't drink the water at sea. So, what are you feeling right now? What are the feelings that you had as you realized how this experience was going to go? Sorry? Anyone? What are you feeling?
Very vulnerable.
Vulnerable. That's a good word.
Maybe hopeless.
Hopeless. Afraid, right? Frightened. Disoriented. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know where we are.
Some regret, like maybe I would have been better headspace, or maybe like just like dread of the future, like so unknown that.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that second guessing of like the Israelites in the desert, right? Like, was I better off? Should I have left? Yeah. Yeah. Grief. Yeah. Yeah. We have so many refugees that talk about their garden. Like, no one can take a garden. Yeah. Or a farm.
I think of anchor, I don't know, it might be too spirited. I think this city was cute on, it's like an anchor, but if I was in that situation, if I had children, anchor.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, you've been badly treated by me so far. This is when students go through this, they say, that's so unfair. And I say, exactly. It is so unfair because no refugee was the cause of the civil war that makes them flee, right? They aren't the cause of their own persecution. So for all of them, it's so unfair. Would anyone like to share what was the hardest single item to scratch off your list? Your pets, yes. A lot of people put pets on the list. Yep. Yes. Journals. Oh, that salt water. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I have a question. Do the people on a boat together like that tend to bond with each other, or are they feeling competitive with each other?
That's a good question. I think it depends on how long they're at sea, and yeah, and then are they ending up in the refugee camp together, right, as a cohort? Yes. Your phone, yeah. That's brutal. Oh my goodness, the panic I feel. Like, my phone's gone. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to transition. You guys have now felt in just a very small way what it might feel like to be a refugee fleeing your homeland. And so the folks that we talked to at Exodus have just come here. There are 650 families that just arrived in the last 12 months in Chicagoland. And that's families, average family size is like 4 people approximately. Some are bigger, some are smaller. But there are so many ways that you can get involved. Many ways your church is already involved with us, in fact. We can serve, and I want to talk about 2 ways of serving in a second. You can also be praying. We have a prayer partnership list. There's a sign-up sheet just outside the doors on the table there. And you can sign up to be a prayer partner. Once a week, we'll send you an email, and you can see very specific ways that you can be praying. You can also give. We have a program called the New Neighbor Program that Monica has been involved with. This is a curated friendship with a refugee family. Could be with the youth and mentoring them in school. You can only imagine that the school system here is very different than, say, a refugee camp's schooling, and in 1,000 ways. You could be helping with conversational English. You need no teaching background whatsoever. Just talking to people is really helpful. And then helping folks study for the citizenship exam. So Monica, do you want to say anything about your experience as a new neighbor? Wait, let me give you a microphone.
My experience is I've been doing it about 3 years. The refugee family was from Afghanistan, and they fled after the Taliban took over, primarily because the dad had helped with special forces while he was in country. And um, predominantly culturally Muslim is the family. They have 6 children. So all of that chaos that comes with 6 children is amplified when you're starting over in a new country. Like many immigrant families, the oldest daughter was the primary translator. She had the most English and would advocate for the family, not just with me, but with the doctors, with the school teachers, with all of these organizations that we really take for granted. So giving of my time was really about making them feel comfortable. They didn't have a library. They didn't know how to check out a library book. That wasn't open to them when they were in Afghanistan. Going to the park. What parks are free? What is a water park? What is the zoo? They had never been to the zoo. So all of these new experiences, a lot of it was also about respite for the mom, because if you have 6 kids, you're pulling out your hair. And having somebody come in and just entertain, sing kids' songs, play a game for a few hours is a huge relief to them, and a little piece of home, because they had all their own traditions, and all of those traditions now have to change. Even something as simple as Halloween. You carve up a piece of fruit and you put it on your front step. Why? I mean, it just makes no sense, I took them trick-or-treating, and they were worried about the treats being halal, and so like every house we're stopping at, is this halal? We're like, well, I'd have to translate, say, it's like vegan. Is it vegan? That's what if they're being choosy about the treats, that's why. So yeah, it's really about changing your point of view and being patient. I would say that the biggest challenge right now that I have is the climate in the US has changed. Ice is out in force, and they don't necessarily understand what's happening, especially with the language barrier. So, making them feel comfortable saying, no, you are granted asylum. You have a green card. You cannot be deported. Is for the whole family. The children don't understand why all of a sudden at school, they're maybe not as favored, or you're a foreigner. Why are you here? So I think just giving them context, and also reassuring them that this would happen to anybody in their shoes. Giving that peace of mind that another person is watching out for them.
So that's a little bit about new neighboring. And then another final opportunity that is here in your backyard is a place that we call Heidi's House. It is a community center, basically, where you can come in for an hour and a half or an hour and have a group setting, hang out with, could be homework help, could be a moms and tots kind of thing. There's a watercoloring class, there's a crocheting class. I would say both of those are actually English conversation classes in disguise. But we have a whole lot of fun, different classes on different days. and it's right in the center of Wheaton. So that is really easily accessible to all of you all. If you want to find out more about that, again, sign up on the sign-up sheet. And I'll be hanging out after the service as well. Thank you. I would love to answer any questions. How many minutes do I have left? Anything? Amazing. There's one more thing that I would say. There is Allie and Pastor James, right? Our Rector James are collecting a baby care pack for their new neighbors who are expecting a baby. A baby care pack is like all of the stuff that you would need as a new mom, so diapers and wipes and all the things. There's a sign-up sheet, but I think, Monica, are you going to be working with Allie? Okay, so we're going to figure that out. Who's in charge of that? But that is a fun way to, if you're like, yeah, I don't know if I have time to see someone once a week, but I would love to be involved in some small way. We're going to be collecting baby goods for the Arcades' new neighbor friends and their new baby. Are there any questions about anything that I have said today? Yes.
Can you provide a little context
Oh, fantastic.
of what's happening in the refugee resettlement space within this year, which I know, in talking with people at World Relief, really drastic changes.
Yes.
And then also maybe touch on the SNAP cuts that are going to be impacting refugees coming this fall.
For sure. Those are great questions. The good news for Exodus is that we have never accepted government funding. We are only funded by church people and churches. So nothing changed for us financially, thank God. And the number of people arriving right now has gone down dramatically because there's a pause on the refugee placement program, the RAP. However, we're still seeing SIVs. These are people who served the US military. Those people are the exception to the rule, and we're still seeing those families arriving. So it's mainly Afghanis and Iraqis that are coming in today. That being said, since we walk alongside families for 5 years, nothing is going to change for us for the next 5 years, regardless. And we have this smaller number that are coming in now. With SNAP benefits, really good question. We also collect, and have collected for many years, grocery care packs. So as household goods and groceries run low, because Exodus staff are like embedded in the refugee community, we will know when people, like the pantry is empty, when the refrigerator is empty. We find out, and then we can mobilize the church to say, like, hey, can we get you some groceries? No one comes invited into America, or even having served the US military, to go hungry. That's not okay. So we are able to respond to that with the love of the churches. Yeah. So we will be doing more of that, I'm sure, when that change happens. Yes?
SNAP cards rarely cover diapers.
They don't cover, yeah. Yeah, toilet paper, not covered by SNAP. So we have a thing called a household care pack, which is a collection of like dry goods. Yes, yes.
Are there other examples like Heidi House in other regions around Chicagoland, or is there a way to look that up on like a website or something?
There, you actually can't, we kind of hide Heidi's House a little bit. We only promulgate it among churches because we don't want people just showing up at the door and, you know, claiming I'm a refugee. So we only have it in Wheaton, and we only have it on the north side of Chicago in a neighborhood called Rogers Park. Maybe in the future we'll have something out west. We're finding a lot of families out by Aurora nowadays, so. Yes?
I just have a question. As far as living within the Wheaton community, if we are aware of a refugee family that is not connected to Exodus services, are we able to like refer them and bring them into Heidi's house? For example, I know like at my daughter's elementary school, we have a large refugee population.
Yeah.
Many of whom I know are not connected to Exodus because I volunteer at Heidi's house.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Can I befriend those people in the community and bring them with me to
That would be a
Heidi's
question
house?
for Anna, if you know
Okay.
Heidi's house.
I know Anna.
Yeah, Anna who runs Heidi's house. Ask Anna or I'll get in trouble with Anna. I love Anna.
I would add that we have several youth involved in Heidi's House, taking an adult with them from all souls.
Yes.
Adults want to help volunteers be with our youth when they're there. That
Yes.
David Sommer and I are both doing that. It'll be great to have additional adult volunteers for that. It's on Monday and Tuesday afternoons, 5 to 6:15. So
That's an awesome plug.
there's a Thursday slot too. Thank you, Jocelyn. 4 to 5:30.
So if you have a young adult, anyone under 18, they just need an adult. Doesn't have to be mom or dad, but mom and dad have to have given permission. So a small group leader, a trusted adult from this church would count, and we can, like, students are very welcome. We also would love to have students help more with the technology class, because we got a whole bunch of laptops donated to Heidi's house, and anyone under 21 is always good at technology, I find.
And Google Translate as a way.
Oh, yeah.
So Google Translate, you can speak into the app, and it will translate it to their country of origin language, and then speak it back out of the laptop. So it's a huge, especially for someone who's just arrived and has very little English.
Yeah, don't let language be what slows you down in this day and age. Google Translate is astonishing. Yes?
Does Exodus have a public policy program aimed at influencing the government to be more welcoming of strangers?
Like advocacy, kind of? Like advocacy type programs?
Yes, yeah.
We
To
don't at
influence
the,
public policy.
yeah, we don't at this time, but it is something that has existed in the almost 40 years of our program. Yeah, not currently. Although many of individuals who volunteer with Exodus will write their representatives and tell their story. Largely, the state of Illinois representatives, our state level representatives, are very supportive of the refugee program. Yes?
So I've been a part of this church for a few years, and there was a period of time where there was like this regular occurrence of putting together care packages, and then it seemed like for a while it stopped, and now you guys are back. Welcome back. So
Thanks.
I was wondering, like, is there any sort of routine for those care packages of like when that'll be happening, or is it just kind of like an as-needed basis, or is there like a reason why we just haven't had a care package in a while?
Yes. Yes. Someone local should answer that question.
Yeah, because of our shift to Heidi's house, another very personalized ministry to be involved with refugees, we suspended the care pack, which is more relying also on huge churches who have vast resources and a lot of care packs that can accept it really quickly. Logistically, it was tough, and we focused on Heidi's house and the neighborhood. That's the reason why. But with this new baby care pack, because it's so closely connected to Father James and Allie, we as a community want to get behind that, right? So it's very close to our hearts. These are the Father James and Allie. So we are starting it out in a provisional, limited way. Okay.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, Exodus has been doing the welcome packs all along. We just made a choice in-house to, at All Souls, to shift the focus. I would say that if there's bubbling interest, we're open to doing it again. It became challenging for a small church to get all the items, and so sometimes it would kind of drag out for months where it was like, okay, we don't have all the stuff yet. So it was kind of a strategic choice, but we're open to possibilities in the future. I'm glad you missed it.
Yeah, great.
I would also say, Heidi House and what I'm doing in the Youth Neighbor program is an ongoing thing. It's a long-term investment. So the care packs are wonderful, but they're kind of a one and done situation. And so we're really investing in those families over the long term.
I will say about the care packs, the ones that you all had been doing on the past were our Welcome to America packs. The household care pack and the baby care pack now are considerably smaller. So it's like a replenishment order. So if a small group or young adults group or some group here wanted to get behind it, with a smaller group, you could pull it off. Yes.
About 10 minutes to be at the end, but thank you so
All right.
much.
I'll be hanging out in the back. Yeah. What was your question?